And we're live. What's up, everybody? How are you all? I was responding to a comment.
Must have been a good one.
It was.
Frantically typing.
I was frantically typing to finish it. I was responding to a YouTube comment. I like it when people call me Gear Snob. I think it's funny. So, guess what?
What?
Welcome to our Thursday Q&A live stream, where we answer the questions that have come in over Patreon and YouTube member questions. And I have to tell you some big news. I just figured out, no, I didn't figure out, Leslie figured out a thing the other day. So people seem to watch my videos and get super annoyed that there are ads in them. Well, there are two options. One is you can subscribe to YouTube Premium, which is cool. But there is also a new option. I did not know that there was I had to upgrade my Patreon thing. But I did not know that there is a Patreon setting. So now, everybody at the $10 level and above, which is Tone Junkie and Tone Freak, on Patreon, will now get everything that we do ad-free. The way the live streams are going to work is as soon as this live stream is over, I am going to upload it to Patreon. So it might not be there until tomorrow morning. But if you miss the live streams and you want to watch them with no ads in them, because YouTube puts a lot of ads in them, you can, everybody who is a $10 Patreon member and above can do it. Now, most things are available to YouTube members and to Patreon members, but this one thing is not because of the way it works. It has to be on Patreon, just FYI. I just wanted to share that. And the other thing I did was I named...
Number 3, watch them live.
Oh, or yeah, watch them live, duh. The other thing is that I also named all the levels the same on both platforms so that it was not confusing. So, anyway, just wanted to share that because right away, because people have been complaining about that more. I don't know if it's because YouTube has changed how many ads they put in stuff or how they do their ad breaks now. I'm not really sure because I don't control any of that. I also don't control what ads you get. That's not in, obviously. So, but just FYI, you'll be able to do that, including like tomorrow's video. We have a video coming out tomorrow, and just a sneak peek for everybody. It is the Silver Sky versus Fiore video that I've been meaning to do forever is going to come out tomorrow. And that will be available tomorrow afternoon on Patreon without ads. So there you go. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's it. So we should probably get straight into here. Let's close that so that it does not confuse us. And let's get into some questions tonight because we have a lot of them.
Okay.
I mean, we might as well just get rolling.
Don, aloha.
Aloha. He's in Hawaii right now. That's why he's talking like that.
Have you experimented with using 2 different magnets in one P90, say A2 and A5, or some other combination? I'm wondering if the magnetic field would be uneven, slanted toward the stronger magnet, or would it just be even, but somewhere in between the 2 component magnets in regard to strength? Say if A2 is about 300 gals at the screw and A5 is 600 gals, would an A2-A5 combo be 450 gals or so? I'm going to have to try it out and see, I think. Cheers.
So that's an interesting question that I've never pondered. But if you... So the thing about a P90 is it's got 2 flat magnets underneath the coil, and the coil is very wide. So as you are sitting here thinking about the center screws in the middle of the coil, I'm also thinking about the magnetic field that happens below. which is a lot weaker than you would think anyway, because it's the side of the magnet, not the top. But it would still be, the entire inductance would go down of the pickup for sure. It would change for sure. And I would be interested to know what the Gauss reading is at the outside of the coil on one side versus outside of the coil on the other side. And I have to build a bunch of P90s tomorrow, and so I am literally going to try that because I find that interesting. I'm just going to slide the wrong magnet in one side and then measure the Gauss at the outside of the coil and the outside of the other coil. And probably what I'll do is maybe I will post the results of that on Patreon because I find that interesting, but I've never tried it. That's a cool question. One of those experimenty things. It's fun.
Robert H. Why was the H important? You have more than one?
Yeah. Oh, I should also mention, if you have other questions, get them in there with question marks in front of them. We have a bunch of Patreon ones to go through, or you can use a super chat and we'll drop what we're doing and answer your question. And at 9 o'clock, we're going to stop talking about guitar stuff and talk about other random things. So, okay.
With like
Keep going.
delayed housekeeping.
Yeah, sorry.
Robert H. And you still didn't answer my question. My center punches hum when split to single mode. Neither of my fenders hum. I'm testing with the exact same rig. Any suggestion?
They're going to hum because they're not humbuckers anymore. I would be interested to know what shielding and what pickups are in your Fender. Because if you have, there are certain pickups of Fenders that are going to be quiet because they're not really single coils. And if your guitar is shielded, it can also be quieter as well than just a regular single coil hanging out there by itself, you know.
67 goat. Is this the same person?
No, I think this is a different one.
We have more goats.
We have more goats and more Roberts than anything.
67 goat. If you were going to make pickups with a unique magnet shape, nothing fancy, just not standard, would you buy them as magnets or as blanks for you to magnetize? Is there a source of blanks magnets that you can share that would make custom shapes?
Oh, man. So here's the thing. Alnico, or Alnico, however you want to say it, most of the time is cast and then cut and machined. So you would actually have to cast them in different shapes or grind them in different shapes. And I don't know if you've ever tried to cut or grind Alnico before, but it's bonkers hard. So it's fairly limited with the amount of shaping that you can do. I know you can get neodymium magnets in a lot of different shapes. I personally don't think it's worth messing with for the amount of trouble that it is, because you're just going to get a pickup that sounds like a different sounding pickup. So why can't you just design a regular stuff to sound different and not fiddle with all the mess? That would be kind of my thing.
Fiddle.
What question did I not answer of yours?
Why he had an H on his name?
Because we have like 3 Roberts now.
Oh,
Sorry.
I thought we had Robs, not Roberts.
Oh no, there's there's more than one.
Rob F.
See?
That's not Robert. That says Rob.
Oh.
Hello, Leslie and Dylan. Dylan, has Gibson made any significant changes to their P90s over the years? Would a P90 from the 50s sound similar to one of their P90s today? If there is a difference, where do your P90s fall within that time spectrum? Thank you.
So I'll tell you first, my P90s are based on a 56 Les Paul Jr. that belonged to Greg Martin of the Kentucky Headhunters, specifically. That guitar, I borrowed it from a friend, got to play it a bunch, and then when I built mine, we got to compare them. It was really fun. They changed quite a bit. So the earliest P90s did not have screws. So we're talking 48, 49, 50, 51, maybe, right in there. 51, 52, I don't know, somewhere in there it crossed over and they put screws in them and put the magnets underneath. And then they pretty much stayed the same. 10,000 wines of 42 plain enamel. Of course, they changed to poly later on. The newer, and then in the probably the like 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in there, they came out with these Alnico ones that have like Alnico rods in them instead of bar magnets underneath. And of course, they came out with the P94, which is a humbucker size one. They came out with some noiseless ones. But like what is that? That's a 2020 or 21 Gibson Les Paul or Gibson SG Junior. That P90 is pretty much like the vintage ones, just different materials.
Christian. Hello, Dylan. I've got one too.
Question.
Oh, I've just gotten a Squire Mini, and I'm noticing again that these, quote, not so expensive pickups have quite a lot of low end. Also, Squire Bullet. The pickups in the pricier guitars, like Fender Player and the ones you play in your videos, have much more clarity and definition and sound better to my ears, but they have not as much bass. Does this make sense? And if so, why is that? Thank you.
Capacitance. Materials, wire and magnet quality, and the way they're wound. Basically, the reason so the really, really inexpensive guitars, there is less attention to design. You buy those really cheap guitars and they have like all the pickups are basically the same. They come out of some factory in either Korea or China. And there's less, it's just like, give me a P90, give me a Strat pickup. Kind of like the ones you can buy on eBay for $5 or $3 or whatever. Like those are all the same. And the materials, the magnets and the wire are not the same as like the stuff that we buy. It's not the same quality. And as a result, the capacitance is a lot higher, cuts a lot of the highs off, moves the mid-range way down, and you end up getting that kind of bassy, dull sound. Yeah.
Whew, he covered up our whole faces. Jim Woodard, I've got one. Why don't people have learning lesson acquisition syndrome, LAS? This whole GAS thing reminds me of the Friday sketch where the pharmacist keeps saying, take a pill. It was funny at the time, but so telling of our future as a society. No effort, just take a pill and you'll lose weight. Buy a pedal and you'll sound better. Get this shirt and people will find you attractive. Nothing requires work. I'm not saying that pedals or gear are bad, but when purchased as a solution to bad playing practices, it's not the best way to get rid of them.
So I recorded a podcast today. You can take it off of there because it's so long. I recorded a podcast today with my buddy Steve Starlacci, and he has a YouTube channel, and he talks a lot about digital stuff. And we were talking about that, and he's like, people ask me all the time, like, which one should I get, or should I upgrade from this to that? And he's like, is it worth it for me to upgrade, from this to that? And he's like, well, if you suck, no. And if you're really good, maybe. But the gear's not going to make you better. And it's probably actually not going to make you sound better. Because not only are you going to not sound better because you're not better, but you're also you got to learn the gear. Like it takes weeks to understand an overdrive pedal. And I think a lot of people plug it in and like, this is going to make me sound awesome. And you have to explore it and understand how it works with your amp and understand how it works with your pickups. And really, really, I mean, some of these pedals, before we review them, I have them for a month before I make the video, which the people don't like. PRS is like, why are you taking so long to make this video? And I'm like, because I haven't had enough time to learn the pedal, and I think it's really important to do that. Yeah, learning is way more important than the gear, for sure. Except for pickups. Buy pickups. Not really.
Robert.
But really.
Have you tried the Reverb Mod firmware for the Princeton Tone Master? And if so, what do you think about it?
I have not, and I do not know what it is, and I am going to look into it because I saw this and I was like, wait, what is this? Apparently I've not been paying attention. Well, I mean, I just play the thing. So all y'all should know,
Oh, y'all.
I spend this many times in forums and guitar groups and stuff. So if there is some tweaky thing that people are doing or a firmware update that the nerds know about, I don't know about it because I don't spend time learning about all that stuff. I spend time with the new stuff that's coming out and understanding what we're building and how it interacts with that. So I don't know if there's like little mods and stuff. Like if you if you go into a guitar group, for example, and it's like, I bought this new guitar, what mods should I do? I don't know. I don't know what that is because I don't hang out in those groups at all. So just FYI, so people know that. Because I think sometimes they don't realize that I don't do that.
Super chat from Mr. Goat.
I wonder
Thank
why
you.
those things are so high.
I don't know. For the super chat, Mr. Goat, did you change the resolution on your computer?
No, I don't think so.
Hiya, gang. Did you see the price tag on the PRS pickups? Girl Baby and Girl Cat say hi. Much love from 10 below South Dakota.
That's
and he doesn't
dumb.
mean like degrees.
Not Celsius.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't mean like, what are the measurements on
Oh,
the globe?
latitude?
There you go. My brain doesn't work today.
Yeah, they're $500. They're $500 a pair.
Also, cool Girl Baby and I don't think I've ever seen Girl Cat. I've seen Girl Baby now. I don't know that I've seen Girl Cat.
Apparently someone's going to have to post a picture of Girl Cat on Instagram so Leslie can see it. Yeah, they're $500. They're expensive.
I think I'm here. Ivan, I'm planning a 6-string bass. When winding the pickup, let's say a jazz bass style, should I stick to the same wind count as if it's a 4-string variety, like 8,000 to 9,000 winds, or should I cut it back to 7,000?
So this is an interesting question. It's going to depend on your hands. It's going to depend what your pickups have a tendency to do. Mine have a tendency to drift towards the really sparkly top end, and I have to, depending on the client and what they want and what we're doing, I have to kill that on purpose. So it just depends what you already do. I think what you're going to have to do is adjust it and listen to it and decide if it's the direction you want to go. But typically going with a smaller gauge wire is going to give you let's see. I will tell you, jazz bass pickups are typically 10,000 winds of 42. So, yeah, if you go less than that, you're going to get more jangly and less inductance, and it's going to be a lot more mid-rangey sound. Probably. Help with shipping, wink wink. I got a pick guard going to him.
Okay.
Thank you for the super chat.
Tony Leonardi.
Yeah.
Why am I here?
Sorry, I saw that one and I was like, oh, yeah. I got a pick guard going to him.
I mean, I could totally go to bed. Vincent. First question.
Did you see yourself go like this over there?
I was trying to read it. It's weird to have to look at my face when I'm reading words. I see my mouth moving as I'm reading the same words. It is weird.
So funny.
It's weird.
That's funny.
When playing in my bedroom, I'm getting a lot of humming EMI noise. It's slightly better if I point the guitar towards the ground or at some weird angle. Nothing changes if I turn off all appliances. In my music room, however, everything even single coils, is relatively quiet, even at extreme levels of gain. Is there any good solution for my bedroom situation, or is this something I need to get an electrician to check out?
Okay, so it depends on what kind of noise it is, and this is what our thumbnail is about. Because I saw this question and I didn't look at it. I just wanted to look at it enough to know what it was about. So here's what I would check. First of all, we'll talk about a couple of things. First, let's talk about mains noise coming in through the mains, like in through the from the outlet. If your amp makes a bunch of noise when it's plugged in with no guitar plugged into it in one room, but not the other, that's the electricity. So when you just plug it in, don't plug a guitar in, no cable, no nothing. Just plug the amp in, turn it up to your playing level, whatever you're going to play at, and listen to the noise floor. Like the whatever is, right? Then go into another room and do the same thing. If it's louder in your bedroom, then it's coming from the mains. Okay? If it's now plug your pedal board in. I don't know if you're using a pedal board, but let's just walk through this. Plug your pedal board in to the outlet that you usually plug it into. But here's the thing. This is where a ground loop can happen. I would assume that you are living, because he's in Hong Kong, so I would assume that he is in some sort of multiplex unit, like I am. So you don't know maybe what circuit's on what circuit, and you don't know where the grounds for the building are, obviously.
You said no noise when no cable is plugged in.
No noise when no cable. Okay. So next thing would be to plug your pedal board in and plug it into wherever you're going to plug it into. If it's noisy, then if that adds a bunch of noise, then it's coming from your pedal board. But what I would check then is to unplug your pedal board power supply and plug it into the same exact outlet that your amp is plugged into and see if it's quieter. If it's louder when it's plugged into a different outlet, then you have a different ground potential and you're getting a ground loop. So make sure that you plug it into the same surge protector or whatever that you're plugging your amp into. And that should make it quieter. If it's still loud and you are sure that it's not your pedal board, then or you don't think it's your pedal board, then remove your pedal board and plug your guitar in, because you want to isolate whether it's the guitar or the pedal board.
He has two questions, so don't make it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So then on the guitar thing, if it's just the guitar and the amp with no pedal board and you're getting noise if you face this way or face this way, take a real good look at heavy appliances. You mentioned heavy appliances, but I would check, even if it's like an air conditioning unit that you don't necessarily like. In my building, we have a row of big air conditioning units right outside our bedroom window, and I don't have control over those. And so I could get noise from there. Anything with a transformer in it is going to emit electromagnetic interference. But anything from this point that we're going to talk about does not come through the mains. It comes, and it doesn't come through the guitar. It comes through the air. A lot of people argue with me about this, but I know I'm right. This is one thing I do know I'm right about. So this light right here has a transformer in it. That light right there has a transformer in it. Your TV has a transformer in it. Anytime you have a big coil like that with a core and electricity flowing through it, it's going to throw off electromagnetic interference. So that is why you can face one way. You can face a neon light and it gets noisier, and you can face away from a neon light and it goes away. Probably in your room somewhere, if you can face it certain directions, you're getting electromagnetic interference from something. It can go through walls, it can go through floors, and it is a like room shielding situation. If you are in a multiplex unit, it's possible that one of your neighbors has something noisy that you don't have anything control over. And then you move it to another room and it goes away. And it's not your mains. So he isolated his amp, so it's not his mains. The only thing I would do is make sure it's not coming from your pedal board. So isolate your pedal board, guitar straight into the amp. And if it's still doing it, then it's something in the environment. It's not coming from your guitar, and it's not coming from your amp because you already isolated that.
Jeffrey Egan said maybe his bedroom is haunted.
Maybe.
All right, his second question, Vincent's second question. I vaguely remember either you or Leslie mentioning something about hoodies. Will those be going up on your store?
This is your question.
They are at dylanandleslie.com. That is where the specific hoodie that was requested was the Metal Cat hoodie, and they are available on dylanandleslie.com. What are you doing?
I was looking for... I thought there was a button. This is literally a sidetrack moment because there was supposed to be some feature.
Can we get a super chat?
Yeah, get a super chat. Where we could chapter things.
You told me that.
And I was going to figure that out for this live stream. I need to figure it out for the next one.
McDowell YL. Thank you for the super
Thank you, sir.
chat. Wire to Strat. When the neck pickup is selected, the pick guard is noisy when tapped, and the volume and tone pots short out the signal when pressed down upon.
Sounds like you got something. Okay, question number 1. Do you have foil shielding in your control cavity? If you do, rip it out. You have a wire touching something. You have a wire touching some shorting out thing. If you have that stupid wire that screws into the wood with the little eyelet thing with the paint, rip it out. And if you want to still ground that stuff, take a piece of foil tape from underneath one of your pots and run it over to the body so it touches the body like a piece of foil tape. But rip all that stuff out because it's the number one failure point that I see with people when they call me and be like, I put your pickups in and it doesn't work. And I'm like, well, the reason it doesn't work is because it's touching something and it's killing that. So yeah, definitely. If you push down on a volume knob or a switch, you have something touching something. It's not supposed to be there.
Sorry. Didn't mean to do that. He said, yes, I did that eyelet wire and full foil shielding.
Take it out.
I am in it deep.
Yeah, take it out. Take it out. Foil the back of your pick guard only, the entire thing, and make sure it's grounded. You will not really gain that much, if at all, by doing the entire cavity. The whole Faraday cage thing is a bunch of bull-oni as it applies to a guitar, if you have a properly shielded pickguard. And grounded. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Well, do you want to talk about your topic?
That was it. This is it.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, no, we're talking about it. These couple questions, where noise comes from, because people don't realize that the noise comes from the air, and your pickups pick it up like an antenna. Wire length doesn't do it. It's the coil. The coil of the pickup is what... an AM radio antenna is literally just a wire wrapped around in a circle a bunch of times, and then you plug it in. It's a coil. That makes it an antenna. A straight piece of wire will pick up some things, but not like this. And then anything that emits noise, like anything that's got a transformer in it, fluorescent lights, neon lights, refrigerators with big coils in them because they got big compressors, microwaves, anything like that will emit noise. So, big power supplies, like if you have like a big block power supply for like a laptop or something, a PC computer with a big switching power supply, if it's sitting next to the amp, it'll make that ticking noise. All that stuff. Coming through the air. It's not coming through the wires, and it's not coming through the guitar. Yep.
All right, you ready for some questions?
Let's do it.
Rusty Shackelford. Sup.
Hey, Rusty.
Was just wondering if you think a Les Paul and 335 will sound the same or different, all things being equal, scale, pickups, and their placement. If yes or no, why do you think so?
Super different.
He rhymed it.
They sound super different. Because tone would. So, sorry. What is the easiest way to say it? When you have a hollow body guitar, the body moves. And when you have how do I say this? So a Les Paul, the pickups are mounted in the guitar, right? And when you strum the guitar, even if the guitar vibrates, the pickups don't move in relation to the strings. They don't go like this a lot. Well, in a hollow body guitar, they do. So it makes them sound different. Anytime you have the pickups moving independently of the strings and the whole thing is moving around, it's going to make it sound different. So it's not a tone wood thing. It's just literally a mechanics thing about how, because in a perfect world, the pickup should be 100% still and not moving at all, and the strings should be moving over it. But if they start moving around a lot in relation to one another, you're going to get a bunch of different harmonics and stuff. And that's what happens.
Cool.
Yep.
Josh M. Hello, all. My guitar is noisy because I don't practice enough. I wish I could blame it on the bad cables or a grounding problem.
So you play it and just noise comes out? I get that.
Tim Ziegler, how about a floating pickup for an arch top that will mount to the pick guard and work well with bronze wounds?
I did one in my entire life, and I won't do another one. The only reason I did it is because it was for my dad. Yeah.
Good times. Mark Stanton. Hi, Mark. Both of my fenders get a scratching noise when I am running my hand across the pick guard from static electricity. Is there any fix for this?
A dryer sheet. I mean, really. So, check the humidity in your house. It's the same thing as everything else. Like, if the humidity in your house is really low, and he's in California, although he's really close to the beach where he lives.
Yeah, you would think it would
So
have
you'd think
some
that'd be
moisture.
okay. But in the wintertime, though, when you're forced air heating your house and your humidity gets lower, static electricity goes up. You know, obviously that happens in the wintertime. You're walking around with socks on, you start shocking people. But I think with a Strat, I know...
Because you're wearing socks?
Yeah. Don't wear socks. Be more grounded, bro. You're not grounded enough. You need to work on yourself.
Why did your voice change? Is that your culty voice?
Yeah. You need to work on yourself. You're not grounded enough.
Do you even
It's an
remember what you were
internal
talking
thing.
about?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Static electricity and pickguard. The temporary fix, and it does wear off after a while, is wipe it with a dryer sheet. Because it's just static.
Said it's 42% in the guitar room.
Mm-hmm. That's getting low, but it's probably okay. Put it in a more humid room and see if it goes away.
Chewbacca.
Sorry.
Oh, Kevin78. Just bought a Tribute Les Paul. Not sure I like the pickups. They sound very dark to me. Have you a suggestion for an upgrade to something brighter sounding?
Absolutely. I had one of those too. A Tribute Les Paul. It was that Stratosphere thing I got, remember? And we put a bunch of pickups in it, and we put a set of our DAFs in it, and it was phenomenally good. You can go to our website, and it's, yeah.
I can't see Patreon. Fat Philosopher said I sent a late question into Patreon.
I'll check it out. Also, before you order those, if you're a Patreon member, even at the $5 level, you get 10% off. Just FYI.
See, I'm not a member, so I can't see what y'all are talking about in there.
Well, let me look. Maybe he did. Let's see. Get your questions in. Here we go. Fat Philosopher. Hey, Dylan. This week you spent some time dispelling the myth that a neck pickup magnet kills string vibration and guitar sustain. As an owner of single pickup guitars, did I shortchange myself or do I still have something special? Should beginners avoid single humbucker guitars? No, in fact, quite the opposite, dude. I am a massive proponent of the fact that every person, whether you are a beginner or a longtime player, should own at least one single pickup guitar. In my case, I think I have 3.
You keep changing your voice. How many personalities do you have tonight?
Oh, man, probably a lot. It's been one of those weeks where, whatever mood just kind of comes up, just comes up. Okay, so I think that everybody should own a single pickup guitar because it teaches you. If you play straight into an amp with a single pickup guitar and you just have your volume and your tone knob, no pedals, you'll learn a lot about the interactions of the pickup, the volume knob, the headroom level of your amp, all that. I think it's a really good thing to do. Yeah, cool.
And you answered the brighter pickup question, correct?
I did.
Okay.
DAFs.
Martian Murray, if you had a swimming pool route, could you make one giant pickup to fill it? If that sounds stupid, it's because I'm stupid.
It is not stupid. And I'll tell you something. I have a plan for just that guitar. There is a Photoshopped Les Paul where it's got pickups that go from the bridge all the way to the neck.
It's one pickup though? I thought it was a bunch of pickups.
Well, it's probably like 4 humbuckers in a row, but it would basically function as one. And it's
Could
some.
you want it as one?
Oh, no. I don't think so.
Why not?
Well, because then it would just be one coil going around the outside and it would do nothing. You'd need the density of wire and density of magnets to work.
Yeah.
I have literally dreamt about this and
For years.
making a photoshopped guitar. That might happen pretty soon, actually.
Years. All right.
I've been thinking about doing a whole series of like the guitars that people don't think should work. Or the ones that are like, this guitar is an abomination. And they post them in Facebook groups to try to get hate on them and stuff. And I'm like, I should just make that guitar. Or like mod that guitar to be like that. Just to see if it works and what it's like.
Super chat from Dave the Pirate.
Hey man, what's up?
He said, what's a tone knob?
He hangs out with Matt Flaherty from Texas Toast Guitars too much.
I forgot we had more Daves too. We were talking about similar names.
We have many Daves.
Paul was like, there's more Pauls. I was like, Doug's too. And then we have Dave's also.
Well, it would stand to reason that as we have a growing audience, that there would be,
a lot of common
names.
I keep clicking on things inappropriately. Sorry, y'all. Sassy Cat, didn't Rickenbacker have a horseshoe magnet pickup?
We did a video about it.
I think it was because you were talking about different pickup shapes.
We did a video about that. Yeah, that's a neat pickup.
Paul needs. Don't know about these days, but cheap squires used cheap bar magnets rather than individual pole piece magnets.
They did. With steel posts in the middle of a plastic bobbin.
Adam Knox, have you used any inexpensive notched straight edges for a fretboard? Do you suggest just spending the money and buying them from StewMac fret leveling files?
Okay, so fret leveling files, yes, spend the money. Fretwork stuff, spend the money. I tried to make a notched straight edge out of a yardstick, an aluminum yardstick one time. That didn't work very well. I bought, you can get a good notched straight edge from Amazon, you know, like the notched straight edge with the scale links on them. But you should have something to check it against. Even flat glass is really hard to find these days. So just like the edge of a window, like not in the middle of a window, but on the edge of a window, you could, you know, hold it up against it and make sure. If you have somebody with a machinist table, put some adhesive sandpaper down and take that aluminum straight edge and just run it back and forth a couple of times and make sure it's straight. I've done that with fret rockers too, like cheap fret rockers. You put them on a flat surface with some sandpaper on them and make sure that they're totally flat on the bottom. Otherwise, buy the good stuff. We have a link in the description to StewMac, and it does help the channel out if you use that link. So that would be awesome. But if you can't afford StewMac stuff, I would use that as a couple of tips.
There's a couple of people in the comments recommending Neck Check guitar tools.
Yeah. I think this is, and I'm literally not just saying this because I have a link in the description, because I'd give you a bunch of stuff from Amazon too. It's a buy once, cry once situation. And it depends how much you're going to do this stuff. But if you have 5 guitars, get good stuff. Don't cheap out on tools. And if you have to buy a little at a time, buy a little at a time. I don't have all the fancy files and stuff, but I'm working on it because of the same reason. Like, I work on so many guitars, even just my own, that it's worth it. And it, man, if it's not flat and then you start doing some fret stuff, you can screw up a guitar real quick.
I feel like I've seen, okay. Let's just get a couple of things out of here. I hear Adam Knox. I hear a lot of strange noises when I play guitar. It turns out it's just my terrible playing combined with the cats complaining.
I get that.
Still Adam Knox. I have a cable with a bad ground and an old solid state amp I need to rewire. If I move the cable just right, I can pick up an AM Mexican radio station.
That's pretty awesome. I've heard of that.
Eric Lettinger, can't you use a power conditioner to get rid of noise?
If it's coming through the mains, but most of the time it's not.
Super chat from Dave the Pious. Am I
Thank
saying
you.
that right?
Yeah.
Does that word mean anything? I don't even know.
Yeah.
I've been curious about the newer active pickup. Thank you for the super chat, Dave. About the newer active pickups that are supported to be more like passive. SD Saturday Night Specials, EMG headset, thoughts?
I don't have experience with either of those. I do have experience with Fishman Fluence. And while they do not go all the way towards the ones that I've had experience with anyway, Even though they don't go all the way towards like fully passive sound, they're really good. Like those Gristle-tone Fishman Fluence pickups are super good. I would totally have a guitar with those in it. And their Strat pickups are really good too. So yeah, I think they're getting them. They're getting good.
Thanks again for the super chat, Dave. I'm gonna catch this one because there's a couple of comments and I have no clue what any of it means, so I don't want to miss it.
Okay.
Oh, I think I already scrolled back too far. IBJI. Don't tribute humbuckers have those connector thingies? And everybody's saying yes. And then yes, they use the PCB. And then the question. So a Dylan pickup still fit?
Yeah, you just have to snip the wire and splice it in. It's not that hard. If you order from me, I will tell you what to do.
I just didn't have a clue what was happening there.
Do they all have that? Or was that just for a couple of years? I was under the impression that they just did that for a couple of years and they don't do it anymore. But I could be wrong.
The Panda wants to know, how come you sold your PRS Silver Sky?
Video comes out tomorrow.
Oh, I almost banned somebody on accident. This is
Video
not
comes
my
out
day.
tomorrow.
Not my day.
Yeah, it's been a long week. We're just chilling tonight. So thank you everybody for putting up with our
14 more minutes.
slower pace of life tonight.
Korzak Ironbeard. I've got a noise issue with a Les Paul. Touching the plastic control cavity covers causes a static, scratchy sound.
Same thing as the pickguard thing earlier. Bounce dryer sheet and lower the humidity in your room.
Lower? Not
I mean,
necessarily.
raise. I apologize. Raise the humidity in your room.
Sasmitha or Sasmitha? I don't know. I record with software amp Sims. I run my guitar into an interface which is connected to a laptop. When I connect the power to the laptop, it makes a constant noise, which goes away unplugged. Why?
Because now that's could be one of two things. That could be you have a power supply for your laptop going bad. So that would be like my MacBook, and even if you have a PC, usually it just has the little plug that goes in the side, right? And then it's got a little short cable to like a box, right? And then that box goes to another cable that goes into the wall. That little box is a switching power supply. It's a miniature version of what's in a regular PC. That little switching power supply, if it's going bad, number one, or number two, if it is short on power, this is something else that can happen. This is where the power usually goes wrong in somebody's house. If the power is down, like, because you're supposed to have, in the United States, you're supposed to have 120 volts. If the power's down to like 114 or something, then switching power supplies have a hard time and they start freaking out and they make that noise. And that can happen. We had something that did that. We had some computer. We've run into it when using inverters, like on traveling in the car, because a certain inverter will not have a full sine wave; it'll only be half sine wave, and it won't support that. That when you start getting dirty power, that's the kind of thing that happens, or the unit itself is dying.
Vox Guitars Rock says, great and informative channel, Leslie and Dylan. Thank you for all you do. I've learned more watching your channel than I have with 25 years of messing around myself. Thank you. And Gibbs Sunday says, Dylan, it's Cam from Gibson. Good to see ya, homie.
Dude! What up, dog? You know what you should do? You should call me. I'd like to actually have a real conversation with you.
A real one. Not right now, because we're busy.
So everybody, I don't usually call people out, but he's the one that sent me what are those things? The Maestro pedals to review. So,
What are those things?
yeah, you know. I keep wanting to call them Gibson pedals, but they're not. They're Maestro, but Gibson owns the brand. And I should say, too, I like to put this stuff out there and be very transparent about it. I am not a Gibson fanboy because Gibson sent me some pedals. I think it's the other way around. What happens a lot of times...
Gibson sent you some pedals because you were already a Gibson
Exactly. So it happened with PRS too. Gene from PRS was like, I saw a couple of videos with you in it, my videos with our guitars in it, and I was like, I really liked them, and she reached out as a result of that. He did the same thing. Cam did the same thing. He's like, I saw a couple of your videos, blah, blah. Oh, he said, I noticed that you purchased. That you purchased the G-hole.
Somebody checked off their bingo card right now. We should make Dylan Talks Time bingo cards.
You know what we should do? Bing! Idea. The card that we put in with orders. The card that we put in with orders.
I love it already.
Should have on one side the normal stuff that, that tells you how to wire the guitar and stuff. And on the other side, we should have Dylan Talks Tone Bingo.
And then is there a way to make some kind of shenanigans coins and we could send those too, and then people could send us a picture of their bingo cards after every live stream so we can know who got bingo?
I think that's a great idea.
It would be hilarious.
It would be really hilarious. Dylan Talks Tone Bingo is a great idea.
All right.
That's a great idea.
All right. Anyway, we have a super chat. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry we have a super chat. I'm sorry I waited.
Yes.
Thank you for the super chat, Jesse Cat's Music. I've been on a wild goose chase for months on noise that stops when touching grounded components. I know that's normal, but it's extreme compared to my others. Really spoiled by the ending on my build. Really spoiled the ending on my build.
Okay, so make sure everything is grounded. And if it's loud when you don't touch it and it's quiet when you do touch it, that's always going to happen. Do the same thing we talked about earlier and experiment with it in different rooms and see if it's quieter in some rooms and louder in some rooms of your house with just the amp. Because that's always going to happen. It could be conditional to one space that you're in. If it's the same amount of really loud everywhere, then it could be how loud your pickups are. Also, we are now taking contributions in the comments for words that should be included on Dylan Talks Tone Bingo. Not in this chat, in the comments below the video.
I mean, they can't do that right now.
Oh, they can't do that. Yeah, they can.
No, they can't.
Oh, they can't? I thought they could. I thought I could do that.
I can't do it. Show me how.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I didn't say you're wrong. I said show me.
Okay, let me see if I can.
It wasn't a challenge. I was like, well, teach me. Super chat from the Polyester Pimp. Thank you for the super chat. How much fret buzz is normal?
Well, 0 fret buzz should be... Okay. Let's define fret buzz. When you strum the guitar with no... Like, when you just strum it, not touching anything. If the strings rattle against the frets because the action is very low, that is whatever your personal tolerance is. So, and that's determined by a couple of things. One, first of all, if the fret work is really good, you can get lower without it rattling against the frets. Typically, what I call fret buzz is when you are fretted somewhere on the neck and all of a sudden you get to a certain string on a set. Let's pretend you're on the G string on the 7th fret and it buzzes right there. But when you go to the 9th fret, it doesn't go away. It goes away. Well, then that means if you're on the 7th fret and it buzzes, and then you go to the 9th fret and it goes away, then that means the 8th fret is too high. You never ever want that. You want to be able to fret every note on your guitar and not have any buzz from an adjacent fret. Now, string rattle, like if you strum the guitar really hard with no hands on the strings and they bang against the fretboard, if your fretwork is good, that's just how low can you go. And that's a setup thing. So you need to go through your setup. You need to check your neck relief and make sure that it is flat or almost flat. I know that people don't like it when I say that, but flat is cool. Your nut height, then your string height, and then your intonation in that order. And you should be able to minimize that and understand then how high you can set your string height to, and then set your intonation afterwards. Yeah, fret buzz and string rattle are two different things. That's why I want to explain that.
Curtis Chavez, in a Strat style guitar, swimming pool route,
Yep.
distance from bridge to mount a P90 for the best results.
You can't. You're right. I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I don't know what the measurement is. I don't know how to tell you the answer. I mean, I know because I know where they usually put them. And like if I had a pick guard, because I could like measure it off of a pick guard because we buy them pre-cut. And there are two, like for example, for humbuckers, there's two standard measurements for a Strat distance from the bridge. But for a P90, I cannot remember what it is. There is a measurement that most people use, but I don't know what it is.
Offhand.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of how to find it to tell you. You're stumping me on that one.
3 minutes to go. Paul needs, so if I'm switching from humbucker to single coil, should I? How can I shield it?
Well, just shield the pickguard. That's what I would do. I would shield the pickguard and then ground it. Oh, wait. If your guitar doesn't have a pickguard, then you could shield the cavity, but just be really careful with that. You could shield the cavity that the pickup goes in. I don't know how much it's going to help, though. And you do have to ground it. So those are the two things I would try. But if you have a pickguard, shield the pickguard and ground the pickguard.
Lots of questions about this. Fox Guitars Rock said, should I shield the cavity covers on my Les Paul Tribute? Static like crazy through the amp if I touch the covers now. Sorry if I missed it. I'm at work.
Static if you touch the covers. That sounds like you have something wrong because if you touch the covers, they should get quieter, not louder. If you touch anything metal and it gets louder, something's touching something that's not supposed to be touching, or you've got something grounded backwards. Yep.
Mr. Goat says, have you ever experienced 10 below zero? It's surprisingly humid.
I've experienced 40 below zero, and I never want to do it again.
I have not. I don't want to.
I'm from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, dude. I'll see your North to South Dakota, and I'll raise you, or lower you, 30 degrees and a wind chill.
So much drama. Yep. That's a cool name. Hi, Dylan. Did you know Guitar Lounge just sent back a PRS that had the same coil tap problem you fixed on your McCarty? I wonder if you guys noticed a major ongoing defect with PRS Indonesians.
So, funny story about that. I just got an email today. PRS told me I have to send that guitar back, which I'm not real happy about, but I have to send it back. So, the guitar is currently still, the pickups are not hooked up. So when I put that guitar back together, I'm going to put it together the way I know it to be right. And check it and see if it's good before I then put it back to how it was in case it was wrong. I'm not saying it was wrong because I don't know, because I didn't really pay attention. I just took it apart. But I'm going to pay attention as I put it back together and see if something was wrong, because I did think of that. And if that is the case, I will do an update video. Yep, I will do an update video before I put it in the box to send it back. If there is an additional problem.
All right, it's 9:01.
It is 9:01, which means we are now into off-topic hour-ish of Dylan Talks Tone. So here's the deal. You're only allowed to ask questions that are off-topic. If you ask a guitar question after 9 o'clock, it has to be a super chat. Otherwise,
you can ask a question.
we will not answer it.
Okay, so this made me laugh. Jeff Hughes said, "You better move fast on the bingo, otherwise Phil McKnight might get it done before you do."
Oh, is he thinking about doing it too?
It doesn't matter. Like the whole point. Somebody else said something like they started calling out like their Martin guitars. Maybe that's what somebody else had. My thought, I feel like you were on the same page with me. If we did bingo for Dylan Talks Tone, it would be, does Dylan say these phrases during the live show?
Yes. Like
it has nothing to do with like what guitars you own or what pedal you have. Like it'll be these very strange Dylan sayings that he says very regularly.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
And I have said out loud that if Gibson starts using G-hole, I'll let him have it. I won't even sue him. I just want a guitar in exchange.
Did you have anything you wanted to talk about today?
Nothing really, except it keeps freaking raining and my back hurts because of it. It is just going and going and going.
Is that a guitar question? I don't know what it is.
Did I pick up an OBD11? Oh, no. He's asking me if I've tuned my Audi yet. Oh. So, I was going to tune the Audi, like, pretty much immediately. The problem is, we still have, like, 3 years left on the warranty, factory warranty, and I learned that Audi can now tell how many times it's been flashed. And they didn't used to could do that. So basically, if I tune it and then take the tune off to take it to the dealer, they can still tell that it's been tuned and then untuned. So I kind of don't want to mess with it until I'm out of warranty. And then, I mean, at that point, am I going to want an RS5 anyway? So, I mean, I don't know. I probably won't tune it. I might get a performance exhaust for it, though. But probably nothing major. The car's so fast as it is. I mean, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's as fast as you need it to be. And it's fun. And it's a station wagon. So.
Yep, said OBD is up to 11 now?
Yeah. Oh, maybe he's talking about 2. Maybe it means 2. Like.
Oh, maybe it means 2.
The II. Maybe. But I knew what he meant. to try to
funny.
tune it.
Maybe that's why they're laughing. I don't know. I don't have a clue what any of this is. Tony Leonardi says, "Thank you for the referral on the infrared heating pad thingy. It works and seems to be helping."
Good. I love that thing.
Same.
Good. I'm glad.
I like that thing too. Let's see. Off topic. Adam Knox, off topic. "I was tired of winter in November. Now I'm thinking of moving to Phoenix." I don't know where he's
You will be tired of summer by May. It's so hot there. I used to live in Arizona too. It's hot.
Jason Albert said, "Isn't Off Topic a goth clothing store?"
No, that's Hot Topic.
I don't know. They're being funny. And then Adam Knox says, "Yeah, I think Off Topic is a secondhand emo clothing store." I think they're being funny.
Is that like Sex Off Fifth?
They have some good stuff though.
They do.
Ben
I like Hot Topic,
Blankenship says, "Favorite EDC knife."
That's easy. Chris Reeve, Sabenza. I mean, yeah. And on the less blingy side, my other super favorite is Spyderco PM2. I have a Spyderco PM2 that I've been carrying the last couple days. But this knife is next level. I love it.
Vox Guitar. So people are being punny in the
Punny?
comments. Vox Guitars Rock says, "Why don't scuba divers like higher end cars? They don't want to get the Mercedes Benz."
Dang.
Angel Raven 444 comes back and says, "That Benz joke was a little too deep for me."
Oh, man. They are definitely more on than we are tonight, I have to say.
Yeah.
Which is just fine. I love it.
Karen Bassett says, "Can you recommend a power generator for when the power goes out? Gas, electric battery? Thanks."
So, I'm currently working on a video right now. Because I just bought a Blue Eddy solar generator with a solar panel that plugs into a lithium battery that will run my little Dometic refrigerator for 48 hours. It's a small one, but they make them big enough to support a whole house.
Yeah. And even, I mean, that's convenient. Like, if you were just worried about making sure you could communicate and, like, keep your devices charged and stuff.
Yeah, this thing has, like, USB-C, USB-A, has a 700-watt inverter. It has wireless charging for a phone. It has a safety light, and it's literally, like, this big. And we're going to keep it in the car because one of the reasons we got it is because we have this refrigerator that we have in the car. Whenever we have an SUV, we have this Dometic that goes in there. But the Audi doesn't have power on all the time. And because we work on the road so much, it's really nice. I think having the van has spoiled us for having electricity all the time whenever we want it. It's kind of nice. And so I got this thing. It wasn't really that expensive. I got it on sale. It was under $400 or something. And so I've got a review coming on that on the other channel, on the Dylan and Leslie channel, because it's really cool. It works really good.
Ben Blankenship said his favorite EDC is a Benchmade 940.
I had one of those and sold it because I never used it because I had other stuff that I used more, but that is a fantastic knife. I've got a bunch of Benchmades, but that one is pretty cool. Yeah.
Paul Need says, "One word, or rather a phrase for starters, is what's going on."
Yeah, but that would be at the end of that would have to be at the beginning. That's like a gimme at the beginning. Because I say that at the beginning of every video.
At the end of the beginning.
Yeah.
The Dylan-isms.
Yep.
Let's see. Stephen Fraser said, "Did the doctor give you pain pills?"
I was on pain medications for a while, and that took me down a very dark road. So I do not take them anymore. I can't. Yeah. So in the early 2000s, mid and late 2000s is when everybody was addicted to pain meds.
You were one of them.
I was one of them. And it almost took me out. And so I don't mess with that stuff. Yeah. I just have to find ways and deal with it as naturally as possible.
Thank you for the super chat. Bacon Tracks backing tracks for guitar. He says, I love Jerry Cantrell's gear and playing. The dude has the best taste for tone. Do you agree?
He has very good tone. And what I like about his tone, it's very simple. He's like a guitar and a wah and maybe a pedal or two, but really super simple. Single pickup guitar, example. Yeah, I agree.
Doc said it is OBD11, and it also works for unlocking some European market options that are embedded in the software.
That's part of what I was interested in because, I don't have coolant temp on the dash. And I think that's one of the things you can... I have oil temperature because it's a turbo, but I don't think I have coolant temp. In fact, remember, we're driving and I'm like, why is this thing 220 degrees? That doesn't make any sense. And I was like, oh, wait, it's oil temperature. Which I should have known. All my other Audis, I used to have a twin turbo Audi before, and it had oil temp and not coolant temp. But with the cool new digital dash, yeah, you can unlock some of that stuff. It would be awesome. I wonder if it could unlock the LEDs that are previously installed in all the doors for all the ambient lighting. The lights are in there. We just don't have it. You can't turn it on.
Like you want to leave them on?
No, what I'm saying is the model up from ours and some of the European ones have all the ambient lighting. So like on the doors, it like glows and you can change the colors and all that junk. I looked in there and the lights are in there, but we don't have it, which means it's just a software thing. Mm. They just have to give us the button on the screen.
Give us the button.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, Angel Raven 444. Dylan, what's your favorite restaurant in Georgia? Georgia's a big state.
Ooh, in Georgia? What do you think?
My name's not Dylan.
No, I know. Wait. Isn't there somewhere in Savannah?
That's my favorite.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Fox and Fig.
Fox and Fig in Savannah.
Randy Crooks. Have you been to Austin, Texas? I'm going to Let me try that again. Have you been to Austin, Texas? Going to Austin at the end of March.
I've never been to Austin, and I really want to go because that's where Formula One is.
13 Aphomet? I don't know what that says. You should definitely try the Para 3. It's almost better, I dare say.
I would try the Para 3 if there weren't like 8 other knives in front of it. Because I really like my Para 2. And I also have a Manix 2. And I also have, what's the other one? Not an Endura, Delica. I have a Delica 4, I have a Manix 2, I have a Para 2. You have some little teeny weeny Spyderco. We have a bunch of them. And I sold a couple Spydercos too. So the Para 3 is just kind of down on my list.
He says it's better. Backing tracks for guitar. Do you own a Bowie knife?
I don't.
Stephen Fraser. Any dull knives?
Not around here.
No.
Mm-mm.
Paul Need says, I saw a couple of Instagram posts from you with knives. He said knives of guitars.
Oh,
I read your text and replies and wondered what all these new guitar terms that I'd never heard of were. That's funny.
you know what I've been doing?
No, I've seen them.
Yeah, I've been just taking knives that match guitars,
see
and I've
them.
been, It's not that revolutionary, really.
It's pretty funny though.
Yeah.
All right. Angel, it just scrolled. Angel Raven 444. As soon as I find it. Dylan, what are your top 5 YouTube channels you recommend?
That I watch or that I recommend?
Yeah, those are different.
I don't know. You know, YouTube channels are funny because I don't. When I watch YouTube, I don't. At the end of the day, like after we get done here, I'm gonna go watch some YouTube videos and wind down because we always have to spend an hour winding down after these things, right? Maybe not tonight. You're pretty tired.
I'm so tired.
We might just crash tonight. But usually, they can't be thinky stuff. It has to be kind of not dumb, but it has to be entertainment only. And so, I typically watch motorsports and car related stuff. I don't typically watch guitar stuff. If I watch guitar stuff, it's usually during the day while I'm at work because I'm already doing that stuff. I don't watch as much guitar YouTube as you think. I keep up a little bit with Phil. I watch the Casino Guitars guys. I kind of watch my friends, really. If I'm friends with them, I watch them. Steve Starlacci's stuff. But I don't typically, and it's a way to keep up with my friends, if that makes sense. But I don't typically just brain out about guitar stuff. So usually it's, I've watched every Cletus McFarlane video for the last 5 years, probably. I watch all the 1320 drag racing stuff. I watch pretty much all the straight pipes and throttle house stuff, car stuff, a lot of car stuff.
Who's the giggly motorcycle guy?
Oh, Zach Wertz from Revzilla. Yep. I watch some motorcycle. I'm not watching as much motorcycle content because that's kind of like pain pills for me. Like, I kind of have to stay away from them. Otherwise, yeah.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Pauline says, have you tried TENS pain relief, Dylan? My life is insufferable without meds. My hands cannot touch anything without excruciating pain from hypersensitivity. Even a breeze hurts.
I have a TENS unit, and I do use it on some days.
Not enough, probably.
Probably not enough.
Angel Raven 444. Dylan, do you plan to tour this summer and live stream from various locations?
Well, I have probably a half a dozen trips on the books this year. So I don't know about live streaming, but definitely recording content and making content in those places. And those places are a lot of places around the country. So some of them you know about, some of them you don't know about. Colorado, for sure you know about, but there's some other stuff that we're working on too that you don't know about yet. That's going to be really cool, I think.
So here's some recommendations, people talking about their favorite YouTube channels. I Do Cars, Vice Grip Garage,
My brother
Donut Media,
Duh.
Missed Apex,
Yeah.
America's Untold Stories,
Hmm.
and Paul Leeds 411. I don't know.
I've heard of that one too.
Cool.
Yep. Cool.
I'm all caught up.
Awesome.
I have 0 to contribute. I feel bad. It's only 20 after.
I know. We're kind of worn out today. It's been a long week.
It's been a long week.
So we have had, it's been a long week. And it's Thursday, and you're off tomorrow though, huh? I have to edit a video in the morning. I got to finish editing the video that's coming out tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And then I've got some pickups to wax pot and ship. And then I think I'm going to cut it off early tomorrow too, so that we can just chill for the weekend and start next week fresher, because it's been a crazy week. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming to hang out with us tonight. I know it's a little shorter than normal, but
thanks for your grace.
some weeks are like that. Also, thank you for all the super chats. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for everybody coming and hanging out with us. And I am going to tonight start uploading this so that hopefully tomorrow morning it'll be there on Patreon for those of you that want to. Well, you're
Doug
here
DeMiro,
still.
he watches all
Oh, I
of
watch
those
every Doug
too.
DeMiro,
And
yeah.
what's the Shmee, whatever he is?
Yeah.
What's his channel called?
Shmee 150. He's super annoying, but he knows a lot, so I watch him anyway. But yeah.
All right.
Cool. Thanks a lot, you guys. This has been super fun. We will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.